Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another From Software OST reaction. And this is probably going to be one of the more recent videos I would have done because this is the first boss, apparently the first real boss of the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC for Elden Ring, and how, well, for reasons that are probably going to become a little bit clear, I have heard some things about this boss fight, but one of the things I have not heard yet is the music, because, well, as far as I'm concerned, let me just find it for you guys very, very quickly. Apparently, I got shown what the divine beast looked like. I got told to have I had one look at this thing. And immediately I told myself, oh my god. Literally my exact words. And what is it, you may ask? Well, it is, by the time I can get a decent, there it is. It is, I mean, that, first of all, it looks absolutely like something that From Software would conjure up. But also, let's just talk about the design. It looks like it looks like that one part of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood where the dog and that little girl got conjoined together, and you could see the look of this thing. This guy looks like really enraged, angered. He has two complete sets of teeth, which maybe like this guy, maybe the lion ate somebody. The guy just grew inside him. Also his back is really, really disfigured. How it goes from like almost like a hump to two crooked legs bent to the back, and then because it's got like human feet as well, and I don't know if you guys will be able to see that, but it's got human feet on it, and its head is outstandingly enormous for its body. Its hair, absolutely, it basically looks like the long list of things that From Software has conjured up in terms of just grotesque horror. I mean, you had Ludwig the Accursed, you had Godric the Grafted, you had even things like the Rotten, and now you have this thing called the Divine Beast Dancing Lion. And with a name like that, I had to honestly consider the idea about what this thing sounds like. How exactly do you fight such a beast with a name like that? I don't know how, but for some reason, I just kind of had to peek for morbid curiosity. Now, outside of this, is there anything else I've heard about the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC? I've heard a lot of people complain that it's incredibly difficult, but if you're very unfamiliar with From Software games, the DLCs do tend to be much harder, mostly because they are released. This was released basically 2 years after they launched the game, so obviously they had enough time to play test and get some feedback on how easy some boss fights can be, because there is a fair amount of criticism towards the actual bosses from Elden Ring. So maybe they rectified some of those issues, but that's all well and good until the day comes when I finally play Elden Ring for myself. But now I want to actually hear what this sounds like. So, rise up, ye tarnished, ye dead, and let's traverse the lands between. So, this is the first. I have to emphasize this again. I didn't get my information mixed up. This is the first actual boss fight of the DLC. It sounds like the very end of it. Okay, so like, wow, it's I've never had to I've never actually I think I've ever actually really made this a point about what doing one of these before. But you know what it sounded like personally? I actually got the impression that the actual orchestra itself composing this, they were having to like sway back and forth because I feel like they too were trying to avoid being hit by this thing. So, like I said, with a title and a name and an entire OST that sounds frantic and extremely unpredictable and maniacal as that, I'm going to suspect, only a matter of opinion here, that it's literally a fight that involves watching every single thing it does because just from the look of it, even its frenzied appearance, you need to know what it's doing and you got to know exactly what it's going to do every single time because this straight up looks, if this is just the opening fight in, well, the opening boss in Shadow of the Erdtree, it almost gave me like impressions that it almost will fight like, you remember in like the first Dark Souls game how you have to fight the Sanctuary Guardian, and you know how hard, and for those OGs who knows that how hard that fight actually is. Well, I reckon this thing, the dancing lion, possibly might even trump that because one of the things is that because of, as these games have developed and the fact that you have a jumping mechanic in Elden Ring and access to so many different weapons and spells and necromancies, that obviously they go to contend with this by bringing in a bunch of other mechanics that it has to incorporate to make the fight harder and more dynamic, which has always been a universal thing when it comes to Elden Ring boss fights, is that the reviews I get are often referred to as extremely dynamic with a huge variety of moves and abilities that you have to be on your guard every step of the way. Even the easier ones, you can't really be conceited about because they will tear you apart if they get the chance. Depending on how I play this game, we'll wait and see. But as far as I could work out, that just makes me want to now play through the game and actually get to the Erdtree DLC. What do you guys think about that? If one of these days I actually streamed Elden Ring just to do Shadow of the Erdtree, would you guys want to see that? I think that would be a pretty great time. That, and with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to the Divine Beast Dancing Lion boss fight OST, and I know it's all of you guys again in the next video. Take care, and bye-bye for now.